Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the YouTube Sports Betting Channel. I'm Ross Benjamin, and I'm joined as always on Mondays by Mr. Doug Upstone of DocSports.com. Doug, how are you?
I'm doing excellent, Ross. We are here with another exciting week of football coming up for college football. So, and a lot of things happened this past weekend, which we'll talk about in just a second. And there's some lines that got us scratching our heads, or at least wondering, what exactly potentially could be going on. So, so ready to go with another week. How about yourself, Ross?
Can't complain. Coming off, I'm coming off a winning week in college football, slight profit. I went 2-2, but my 10-star top play won, so that got me over the hump. And then 2-1 on Sunday in the NFL. So it was a good weekend, Doug. And I just want to remind the folks we're taping on Monday, September 13th, and we'll be covering two games in college football as our free picks, and those games will go on Saturday the 18th. So please keep that in mind. We're giving you current lines on Monday, and depending on when you view this video, those lines can certainly change. Anyway, Doug, you mentioned some fishy lines. Anything that comes to your mind?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily fishy as much as it is interesting, and some people might consider this fishy anyways. I saw Michigan State and Miami, Florida. Okay, and Miami is only a 6.5 point favorite going into this game. Now, if we were, back at the start of the season, I think both of us would agree for sure this is double digits, whether it's 10, whether it's 12, I'm not really sure on this one where Miami would be favored. But here we go. Michigan State looked great against Northwestern. Okay, more physical. They were the more physical team, a lot faster, and they just looked really good. We've seen Miami twice. Okay, Miami has not looked good in either game. Okay, and of course the finger should be pointed, and rightfully so, at the head coach, which was a mediocre hire in my opinion at best. So it's a really interesting number, and you would think that you'd want to say, geez, Miami looks easy here, but you know what? I don't think it's going to be easy for them, and I think they're going to be in for a struggle all season long, Ross.
Yeah, I think, again, it seems like on an annual basis, especially under this current coaching staff, Miami comes in with these accolades, and they're hyped, and they're ranked in the top 15, and then the season starts, and their results don't measure up to their expectations. I know they went 8-2, I think, last year. But again, at Miami, what you want to be doing is contending for national championships. That's what the people are used to for a long time there. And these 8-2 and 7-3 and 6-4 seasons aren't exactly what they're hoping for. Doug, I looked at a couple other games and you brought something to my attention. I said, wow, Nevada is a 2-point favorite on the road at Kansas State. I know Nevada's coming off a nice win in their season opener, but you mentioned the Kansas State quarterback, Skylar Thompson, was hurt last week, and that, here's Kansas State. They pretty much manhandled Stanford, which it wasn't a surprise they won. It's in a manner they won. I think they won that game by 17 points or so, right, Doug? If I'm not incorrect. And also then last Saturday, they come back and they only win by like single digit margin against a FCS team. So what team could we expect coming in here, especially with a backup quarterback? I learned a long time ago, sometimes these quarterbacks at Kansas State, there's not a huge drop off from one to the other. They're pretty much similar. It's a Skylar Thompson type that can run the ball. They're big, they're physical, and they don't shy away from contact, and they're average passers. They're good game managers. So I'm not so sure how much a difference that will make. I'm going to have to research it further, but that certainly jumped out. And a game I'm going to be talking about in shortly is the Virginia Tech and West Virginia game. Anytime I see these ranked teams going against unranked teams and the unranked team is a favorite, my experience has been, Doug, and I don't know how you feel this way, but my experience has been over the years that usually the odds makers have it right and the pollsters don't.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Ross. There's a reason, polls are fun. Okay.
Yeah.
They're a great conversation piece. And weekly when they come out, people get excited about them. And for the ESPNs of the world and stuff like that, it's great stuff to talk about. But the fact of the matter is the odds makers, it's their job, okay, to be right, okay, or to be as close to being right as possible. And so with that being the case, if West Virginia is favored, the teams are basically even, and then you got the home field advantage, which at West Virginia over the years has generally been a pretty good thing. So yeah, I would tend to agree. I think the line, even though it doesn't necessarily look right, I think it is right.
Yeah. Again, like I've mentioned on many times, you have to think like an odds maker if you want to be successful in this business. If you think you're going to outsmart an odds maker and they're missing something that you're seeing, it's the surest way to fail in our industry, Doug. And you know that as well as I do. I don't know how many times I've heard wannabe handicappers, so-called handicappers, get on and go, "Are you kidding me? Look at this line." So look, the bottom line is you don't need to fear an odds maker. You need to respect them. And if you do so, if you use that as a foundational starting point, you're in a lot better shape than the contrary. Anyway, Doug, a free pick on Saturday from Doug Upstone at DocSports.com.
Okay, what we're looking at, Ross, we're looking at East Carolina is traveling to Marshall. Okay, now East Carolina started 0-2, Marshall's 2-0. Watch the Pirates last week start to finish against South Carolina. And while they played really well for 3 quarters on both sides of the ball, in all honesty, they wore down at the end of the game. And in a game they should have won. South Carolina came away last drive. They ran the ball right down their throats to get a game-winning field goal, literally at the buzzer, won 20-17 as 2-point favorites. Winner for me, all good, but East Carolina played well. However, the one thing that concerns me is that was a big game, playing an SEC team at home, and now they got to go on the road. Okay, they're already 0-2. What is their mental state? If they're a little bit flat, that would not be a complete surprise to me, Ross. Now, Marshall, they hired a brand new coach. Charles Huff is his name. Whether he's going to be a household name or not, I don't know, but this guy is super, super aggressive, both offense and defense. Their goal each and every game is clear now. They're looking to run 80-plus plays a game. They're going to go fast. They're going to come at you, and they're not going to just do it in one way. They're going to run it, and they're going to pass it. So they're going to keep the pressure on the opposing defense all the way through. Now, they have a good quarterback in order to do that in Grant Wells, so I like what they have there. Defensively now, Marshall last year was number 1 in college football in fewest points allowed. They returned 8 players this season. And if anything, Ross, they're more aggressive with a new defensive coordinator. They're blitzing more. They're coming at you. Now, they're going to give up some big plays along the way because of that style. But overall, I'm just not sure that East Carolina is going to be able to keep pace with this style of play on the road in this situation. And this coach Huff, he's trying to establish something right away. And looking at this one, I think their in-your-face approach will wear down last couple of weeks, things to do with algorithm stuff like that, and this falls under that category. Marshall, or I should say home teams like Marshall that have gained 6.75 or more yards per game in 2 consecutive contests, when both teams have 8 or more starters back, they are 28-6, winning by 20 or more points per game. Ross, I am jumping on the Thundering Herd, and I'm going to be in the saddle, baby. And I'm going to
ride them, cowboy.
Try and ride them in. So I got Marshall -10 on Saturday.
2 things in what you just said. Number 1, will Coach Huff be a household name? No more so than his predecessor, Doc Holliday, who got fired. And the other thing is, you make a good point on a serious note this time. You said that South Carolina wore down East Carolina late in the game, and they also played in their opener. They played Appalachian State, and we saw how physical they were last week against the University of Miami. So they played 2 very physical teams. 2 very, I don't know if South Carolina by SEC standards isn't going to be very good. But having said that, they played against 2, what I would consider more physical and more talented teams. And that, like Doug led you in that direction, that's going to take a toll on them in this game, especially against a Marshall team. They're, like you said, I mean, anytime you get a Conference USA team hosting one of these top 6 conferences, they're going to be up for the game too. That's the other thing. I'm going to take a look at the aforementioned game that I alluded to, number 15, Virginia Tech at West Virginia. And boy, oh boy, this is the sucker play of the week, game of the week, I should say, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is quite simple. You have an unranked team in West Virginia who's currently 0-1, lost on the road against another unranked team, Maryland, in their season opener. They did have a bye last week, so factor that in as well. And they're taking on the number 15 team in the land, Virginia Tech, who knocked off then number 10, North Carolina. And also last week covered in a follow-up against Middle Tennessee State, a game that they may be primed for a letdown, but that wasn't the case, as they covered as a 20-point favorite in that game. And here they are. They're an underdog against an 0-1 team that's unranked. It's not that easy, folks. It's just never that easy. And again, I mentioned before, you have to think like a bookmaker in this situation, and that's what I'm going to do. If it smells like a rat and looks like a rat, Doug, it's a rat. And I am going to take West Virginia here, -3 over Virginia Tech as my free play. Doug likes Marshall in your line on that, Doug?
Is -10 on that one. So so got Marshall -10 for this week's free play, Ross.
And I am on West Virginia -3 against Virginia Tech. And Doug, tell the folks how you've been doing. I know you had a great weekend in football, you said, and where they could find you.
Sure. Yeah. You can go to the Doug Upstone page at Doc Sports. Coming off a 3-1 week, had Arkansas as a winner. They won outright over Texas, and my top play was Kentucky. So that was a nice winner then too. 3-1, excellent weeks. 6-1 altogether for football. So yeah, check me out, Doc Sports, and look at the Doug Upstone page, and be right there. I'll have probably 4 or 5 plays coming again this week, and so we'll see if we can duplicate that and start heading down the road to making you lots of money.
There you go. That's Doug Upstone, one of the finest handicappers in the country, at a great site, docsports.com. He's joined by other world-class handicappers there as well. Great site. It's been around for 40 plus years. Wade Moosman does a great job over there at Doc Sports. You can find me at my website, rbwins.com, or rossbenjaminsports.com, whatever you prefer. rbwins.com seems a little bit easier to type in, though. In any event, 6-4 to start the college football season thus far. 2-0 at my best bets is my 10-star top play in week 1. I had Texas San Antonio +5 outright over Illinois. And then last Saturday, I had Appalachian State, who at the time when I put it in was +9. They moved down to 7.5. But folks, it just didn't matter because they only lost by 2 and should have won the game outright against nationally ranked Miami. So off to a good start in college football. The NFL, yesterday I cashed in with a 10-star top play on the Arizona Cardinals, +3, 38-13 over Tennessee. Boy, oh boy, Tennessee's defense, Doug. It wasn't good last year, and it's not good this year. And I don't think a lot of people realize that unless you're following this real closely. In any event, Doug, any final words before we go?
Yeah, just hey, looking forward to our video on Thursday talking about the NFL. So hopefully we could have a couple more winners. We both had winners, I believe, on that one. See if we can duplicate that.
Yep, that'd be Thursday, somewhere late afternoonish. But as always, this is taped, so just go to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button you see on the bottom right-hand side, and give us a like on this video, folks. It doesn't take older guys like us much to make us happy. We're trying to make you happy with these free winners. Small token of your appreciation. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. For those of you who have, thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed and then hit the notification bell, have no idea why YouTube changed that, but it is what it is. We have to live with their policies. Anyway, until the next time, for Doug Upstone, I'm Ross Benjamin. Take care and God bless, folks.